Our next speaker has been leaving audiences not only laughing but thoroughly amazed from the cornfields of Iowa to the bright lights of Las Vegas since he was a teenager. He performs his offbeat comedy magic throughout Las Vegas, teaches magic camps and classes for kids every summer, and coaches speakers on how to make their presentations unforgettable with a little magic. Before embarking on a comedy and magical entertainment journey in 2005, he retired at age 46 from a business he owned and operated in Los Angeles for several years. Well, we're never quite sure what to expect when he takes the podium. Today he will be sharing with us the story. Is that even possible? With his program entitled A Life Lesson, please help me welcome a legend in his own mind, Al Jensen.
Come back with me, if you will, to September 1970. I had just completed my first week of 6th grade. And my mom had an exasperated look on her face as I handed her a note from my new teacher. At the time, I did not realize it, but I was about to learn a very valuable life lesson. See, my mom was really concerned that I was in trouble after only 5 days in the last year of my elementary school. But fortunately, my mother's look of worry quickly evaporated when she realized that it was a form letter and had nothing to do with disciplinary action. Apparently, I got away with a lot of things that first week, and she never even found out. The letter turned out to be a note advising my parents that the school would begin offering music lessons and form a concert band for 6th graders. I would finally get to move beyond simply listening to groups like Three Dog Night and the Fifth Dimension and Elton John. I was going to get to be in the band. Now, if you were there that day, you would have seen my excitement quickly turn to disappointment as my parents took me to band sign-up night at the school, and I realized they would not be teaching the guitar. I wanted to be like Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, or even Carlos Santana. Those guys were cool. They got the girls. No lessons for the drum set either. And no opportunity to learn the synthesizer. What else was there? Well, as it turns out, my lips and mouth were perfectly sized for the trumpet. Who plays the trumpet? I mean, Herb Alpert and Al Hirt, Louis Armstrong, all good guys, all great trumpet players, but they never got the girls. But at least I was going to be in the band. No more spending my free time catching tadpoles down at the creek. No more climbing the mulberry tree or searching the lawn for four-leaf clovers. I was going to be a musician. Now, our family was a working class family, comfortable, but not really rich by any stretch of the imagination. When it came time to buy a trumpet, disappointment once again reigned as I learned we couldn't afford to buy a trumpet. My mom called the band director and he said that, well, a cornet would suffice. It's cheaper than a trumpet and it'll sound pretty much the same. By this time, my dreams of impressing the girls were fading quicker than a Britney Spears comeback tour. Now, once my mom bought a used cornet through the classified ads for $50, I was really quite anxious to play. Disappointment engulfed me once again as I quickly learned that playing a musical instrument was really no easy task. 3 blind mice seemingly took forever to learn. This was not turning out to be the musical experience that I had expected. Now, after a couple of weeks, quite frankly, I had enough of playing the cornet. Mary Had a Little Lamb wasn't even close to Smoke on the Water. So I quietly put my dented up, tarnished cornet into its case and quietly slid it into the bedroom closet where hopefully it would never see the light of day again. I went back to listening to recordings of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the Partridge Family, and the Jackson 5. until my mother noticed that I wasn't practicing the cornet as we had agreed. Well, to be honest, she agreed and I was 12 years old. I really didn't have much say in the matter, quite frankly. Now, my mom was relentless. She wasn't about to let me give up so quickly. After all, she had spent $50 of the family's hard-earned money on that cornet, and I was going to give it at least one more week's worth of practice. Just practice long enough to play one more song, she said. After an hour of practice each day for a week, I could play Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Pretty impressive. Well, for a sixth grader, I guess. Okay, I did my part. I learned another song. Time to head back down to the creek for some tadpole fishing. But Mom, like I said, was relentless. She wanted to hear me play one more song. Just give it another week. Another week, another song. One more week, one more song. Are you beginning to see where this is heading? Fast forward to March. I had been practicing and playing the cornet for about 7 months when the band instructor asked me to see him after practice. He asked me if I would be interested in playing a solo in the next month's concert. I went, me play a solo? No way! But then he told me that he had made a phone call to my mother. And I might as well get used to the fact I would be playing a solo in next month's concert. That next month I stood on stage, right up front, in front of about 300 people in this high school auditorium up on stage, and I played the only solo in the concert that night, Londonderry Air, more commonly known as the Irish folk song, Danny Boy. Now, I know that my solo wasn't Carnegie Hall worthy, but when my mother saw me after the concert and gave me a big hug, she had a smile as big as all of the outdoors. Now, with that successful solo forever saved on state-of-the-art cassette tape to be replayed at every family gathering for years to come, there was no giving up on the cornet. Eventually, Mom bought me a real trumpet, silver-plated actually, and continued with encouragement. I went on to be the best trumpet player in the school's history. I was even the first musician to ever receive a perfect score in the state music contest. You should have seen my mom's smile when I brought that award home. Now, I didn't realize it at the time, but I learned a very valuable life lesson that 6th grade year. Not about being the best. That's not what's important. It's about the journey to getting better. The value of constant improvement. Continually taking small actions that add up to big results. You see, daily practice on the cornet led me to all sorts of music awards in school and opportunities to play in lots of honor bands. I even got an offer to play in a real rock and roll band once I graduated from high school. It was the daily commitment to practicing the cornet that taught me the value of continued small improvements. What do you want to improve in your life? What can you do today in a small way to start making that happen? Because small improvements on a regular basis can lead to the results that you want. Now, it wouldn't even surprise me if you surpass your expectations to your wildest imagination. Commit yourself to that constant improvement and make your mom proud.